Okay, so Giannis was on, and here's what he said. He said while they were talking, and this was, I guess, just it was kind of just a very brief conversation, but of course it's going to make news because it's Giannis. And coming into the draft and coming into free agency and coming into this offseason, one of the biggest storylines is, hey, is Giannis staying in Milwaukee or is he not? So here's what he said. Lots of people are trying to convince me to go play there. And he's talking about New York and LA. And then he said, and then he was asked, so you staying in Milwaukee? That's what Speed asked him. And then he comes back and says, probably. We'll see. I love Milwaukee. And then I think he said, I love Milwaukee a couple different times. And he said, we'll see. And then they just kind of quickly changed the subject. But I think that there's two pieces to this. The portion that he said, everybody's trying to get him to go play in either LA or New York. It's funny when I watched their offseason, when I got a chance to see, what the Bucks were doing, there's a couple things that came to mind. And whether it was the re-signing a lot of the same players, Taurean Prince and, whoever it is, just kind of go down the list of some of the different players, Bobby Portis, they lose Brook Lopez. Okay. Then they stretch Dame, which just from my personal opinion, I thought that was I don't think that's a smart move. I don't think it's smart to have 15% of your cap to Dame for the next 5 years. I don't think that's smart. They go out and sign Miles Turner, probably overpaid for him, but I have a difficult time with that one. I don't think that's the right move for the Bucks long term, but I also understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
My issue with the Bucks, the word that kind of comes into play is there's some desperation from the Milwaukee Bucks. I had Bobby Marks on, who front office insider for ESPN. And Bobby Marks said something, and this is somebody that worked in a front office for years. And he said that you try to do everything to hold on to a star. You just never know when you're going to get a star. And unless the star comes to you and says that I want out, you do everything in your possible power to make sure that you're accommodating to your star. And it's like, yeah, okay, I get that. I understand that. I don't know if they've made a case to me, and making a case to me means nothing. Are they making a case to Giannis that we got a chance to compete for the next couple of years, look at our roster and look at the direction that we're going in? I don't get that feeling at all from the Milwaukee Bucks. And if I'm Giannis, I think he's there this year, but I got a difficult time thinking that that's where he's going to spend the next 3, 4, 5 years of his career.
Yeah, listen, I'm not Giannis, but it's a mistake. This is now Mike Trout never won a title, but he's going to be the Mike Trout of the NBA. So
he can't. He can't because he already won a championship. Like I don't think that's the comp. Here's the problem with Giannis. Giannis can end his career today, and he will have been one of the I don't want to use the word greats, but I'm saying he was one of the elite players in our generation, and he won a championship in Milwaukee. Honestly, I think he's accomplished if he does nothing else the rest of his career, I already think he's accomplished amazing things. I just don't like the Mike Trout comp because
that's fair.
Trout never won. I don't even think they ever won a playoff game, right? They went to the playoffs once and got swept.
Once and 3. Yeah. The reason I said Mike Trout is, not fair because he did win a title, but in the sense of you're in Anaheim and you're one of the best players of the last decade, and no one talks about you. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, like no one talks about Mike Trout. It's just he's kind of rotting away in Anaheim, and it feels like if he would have requested a trade, if he would have went to a Phillies, hell, there's a gazillion teams there, it would be the same thing. Giannis, it feels like, listen, if he's cool, he just wants to be Milwaukee's hero, and he got him a title and all that stuff, that's great. But if you want to up the brand, if you want a real shot, Giannis, to your point, has the shot to being an all-time great, which he is an all-time great. But I mean, like, you can't just be like one of the best with one title. If he were to go somewhere, I'm not even just talking about the Lakers, talking about New York, just somewhere else. And I don't see with Milwaukee them winning anytime soon. Miles Turner felt like a rushed move because they literally needed to be able to say something to Giannis like, hey, we got this. We got someone for you. They have a great front court between Giannis and Bobby Portis and him. But the guard spot's one of the worst after cutting Dame in the entire league. Like, they're not even in Eastern Conference. I think they're like 6th or 7th on Vegas odds. They're not anywhere close to getting to a championship. Giannis, he's what, 30, 31, something like that, 32. It feels like a mistake to just keep waiting and waiting. And I don't know.
Here's what I'll say. I don't have a problem if Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee because he just doesn't want to move around, and that's what he feels like. I respect that. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to go chasing for a title. I really don't. I think if he wants to, Dirk Nowitzki will be thought of as one of the greats in the NBA, and he stayed in Dallas and he only won one championship. You can have that resume. That's okay. But the things that have come out of Giannis's mouth is I don't want to have one championship. I don't want to be remembered as somebody that only won one. I think the point that I'm making more than anything else is I respect if Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee. I really do. But if your goal is to win, I just don't think it's going to happen in Milwaukee. I think that's the point.
That's the point as well. Is if he I'm respected too. If he's like, I am a Buck, I am going to be here till I retire. That's great. That's cool. But if you're sitting here, like where there's smoke, there's fire. Some of these reports are real about Giannis potentially wanting out. And he was pissed that they dropped Dame, all this kind of stuff. It feels like it's like, what have the Bucks shown you that you were thinking about a trade a month ago to then now to think that you're any closer to a championship?
I think the only thing they've showed, honestly, is that they've buried their future even more. But if there's one thing that they've showed is, Giannis may be looking at this and saying, if there's ever a window in the Eastern Conference, it's right now. Tell me the teams in the East coming into this upcoming season. Celtics got worse because of injuries and because they're just strategically trying to reshape the team. Yeah. We know that the Indiana Pacers got worse. Tyrese Halliburton probably out all season. They just lose Miles Turner. What are the teams in the Cavs? I think Cavs are a fair question mark of you're not really sure. They've never got past the second round, at least with this, this team that they have. The only case that Giannis can be making is I'm going to be here for one more year and let me see what happens, because the favorites will probably be the Knicks to get out of the Eastern Conference. We'll see what other moves happen or anything like that. But if you asked me a year from now, I think at some point it's just a matter of time. Giannis is going to go to the Bucks and say, guys, we did everything we can together. I think I'm ready to move on. And if he wants to pick and specify which team he wants to go to, he's going to make it tough for the Bucks to obviously get the proper return back.
Right. I think they're like 6 right now in odds because the Cavs are the favorite, then the Knicks. I think the Magic got up there because after the Bane trade. The Celtics are still like down 4-5 because of Jaylen Brown.
I wonder where the Pistons are. They had a decent. Atlanta has had a pretty good offseason, even
Miami
though
had decent odds.
And I think the point in the Eastern Conference is it doesn't really matter what the odds are. Everyone's kind of in play. I mean, I would think the Knicks are the favorite. They also just changed their head coach. Like nothing is perfect in the East.
Yeah, it's listen, Giannis' prerogative. I just feel like you're kind of wasting years and you're losing steam after that 2021 title. But again, he gets to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what eventually happens in regards to that. I think there will come a time where Giannis, I mean, I've said this before. I think there will come a time where Giannis is going to look at his situation, and I think he could respectfully, with Milwaukee, say, we had an unbelievable partnership. It's time to move on. And it feels like that's probably more likely in the next year than him saying, I'm committing to being here for the rest of my career.
And last thing, his teammate, his former teammate, Damian Lillard, I think is a prime example of this. Probably waited a little too long. It was all Portland. Then they got him out when he was older. And now, unfortunately, we're looking at massive injuries for him.
The only difference I think will still be the foundation of he did win a chip in Milwaukee. Like he has an NBA championship, and not with the Lakers or not with the Warriors or not with the Bucks. Like I do think that not with the Celtics. No, he did it somewhere where they hadn't won a championship since Kareem 50 years ago.
It's true. I just also think people, and I'm not the one who does this, but people do caveat that. Remember that Brooklyn team was completely hurt. KD was the only guy playing. Like it was a very favorable path to a title. I'm not taking it away from him because he won the title and he did it. But it feels like if you really want to cement something, I would be asking out right now. But if he's loyal to Milwaukee, then he's loyal to Milwaukee.
I will say this. I mean, I thought if there was a time to trade him, I did think it was this summer. I think if also I'm Milwaukee, and especially you started getting those teams like the Mavs, like the San Antonio Spurs, who had the number 1 pick, number 2 pick. I'm like, damn, you want to start your reboot and maybe get, potentially a star or a couple stars on your roster and start, but that's not what's going to happen. Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.